Brooklyn at? You're right outside the crib. What up, man?
Salute, brother. You can hear me all right, right?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah,
What's good? You
man. Good. Thank you for the invitation. You know, I don't do many interviews, so this should be interesting to me. I noticed in the promo, you said that both of us are very unfiltered people, and you would be correct about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, yo, this is not an interview. First of all, we've chopped it up before.
Yeah.
I don't call our. I don't. If you look at our YouTube, it says conversate. Oh, these are combos. I chop it up. I don't have people on here that I don't fuck with. So
No
we're
doubt.
just. I got two L's right here. Got some, a little water and big. So we just building. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
and catching up again. So there's no. Ain't no formalities here. We've been rocking for a minute, and so it's gonna be a good one tonight, folks. This is episode 127 of the Carrying the Culture show, and I respect this man a lot because he stands up for what he believes in, like unapologetically, and I appreciate that because I try to do that myself, and I take some lumps for it. So I'm very appreciative of someone in the trenches with me, just speaking your mind, yo, and you know what I'm saying, and the hell with whatever people wear with chips for what they make. Been in this game forever. Got 2 shows going on right now, I believe, still making music solo. Got the Good People joints. Brooklyn's finest, my man Emskee. What up, man? Let's get it going. Thank you again.
I want to send reciprocal props to you as well for just maintaining that voice out here in the wilderness, brother. It's we're looked at as zany, crazy, angry, bitter, mad, but you know what? When you follow your truth, and obviously everybody's truth is not the same, but when you follow your truth and you live in a life of morals and conviction, and then everything else just slides around that, it's we warriors out here, man. So I just want to give you your props too.
No, thank you, man. As you said, I like the term you say, essential workers, man, and
oh, indeed, yes,
absolutely. So I appreciate that. So let's jump into it. I want to get it going. I have got another show right after this, so we're gonna rock, man. So jump around, catch up. Big up everybody in the chat. If you got questions for Emskee, use the questions feature below so we can pull them up. Big up Peter Ammo. So yeah, I want to just jump right into what's your thoughts on, like, with 7 months into the year, this hip hop 50th anniversary but just recognition, celebration. Where you at with all that?
I love hip hop. I love the culture. I think it's evident in everything that I do. I think that there are a lot of people that are celebrating it, and it's amazing because, at one point people just kind of the whole culture, not just the music. They were like, nah, what is this? Like, no, you know what I'm saying? And I guess, it's good to be celebrated, but within that, and of course, here comes the bitterness. I see a lot of people who aren't really connected to the culture, but they're jumping in and helping to celebrate it because it's cool. Not just something that they live. And I guess maybe that can happen with anything that blows up, but with this culture that I love, man, and you look at the various corporate entities here in New York, Hot 97 and all that, all the corporate entities, man, you don't see any evidence of any of the elements of hip hop. You just hear joints, and that's it. You don't see, graffiti pieces. And, like, it has to be a package. And it's like, it's not even a package anymore. It's like, this is hip hop. This is what it is. And they push it in your face. And, to answer your question, we out here, you and I, people like us, we're doing our thing. But within people celebrating it and just celebrating it because it's cool and not really understanding the past and the structure of this thing, I have a problem with.
Yeah, it's you hit on a couple of good points. One, a lot of these celebrations are absent of DJs, b-boys, graph writers, and that's a fucking shame. And it's nonsense to me because as I champion it all the time. The DJ is the backbone of this culture. The original, the first element, the original element. Everything revolves around that. Graffiti, obviously, stands alone. It always has stood alone. So
of course,
it's kind of an outlet.
Yeah.
But as far as the DJ and the b-boy, come on, man. You know, how are we having like lineups of like 70 artists lineups and fucking, and no mention DJ maybe at the bottom sounds, but it's like, come on, like,
How
and
you gonna fit 56 DJs into 3 hours? You know, I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, again, I'm glad it's being celebrated, but I have a problem with people who are not of this skin, of this culture that we're in. They celebrate it because, oh, it's just a cool thing to do. And of course, we can get into the whole thing of influencers and how that whole shit has fucked the game up. You know, because you got people that actually follow influencers who know nothing about the culture, but yet they follow them because, oh yeah, he says he does this. There's no kind of investigation into who that person is, and I don't know, man. It's a wild game, but we're out here represented the way it should be represented.
yeah, it is. And you made another good point as far as like, there's a lot of people that are not, that were not a part of this shit at all, and jumping on the coattails of whatever is trendy. And here's the thing, yo, it could be the 50th anniversary of like fucking whatever music. People are gonna jump on it because it's trendy, because that's what people do. It's just that, like, you know, you and I take it personal, man. We've talked about, like, we take this shit personal, and it's like, just do your fuck shit somewhere else is what I always like to say. Just go over there and don't, you know what I mean? Like,
look, we're in an age where everybody does everything. The availability of the internet and technology and all that has killed a lot of levels of reference points and parameters of, you know, okay, if you're not qualified to go past this line. I mean, let's just take it back to the foundation of hip hop. A lot of people don't really understand still that back in the early days of hip hop, it was not safe, and you really had to represent who you were, or you got your shit taken.
there it is.
Feel me? Like that. Let's take it back that far.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, we stopped.
You know,
Yeah, we stopped talking about when people got fucked up because they weren't good. Like, forget the saying,
it's not all
make
good.
a team about somebody. You got stomped out.
But, you know, like, hey, look, we're negative, right? You say, oh, don't talk about that violent stuff. It's real. This is what happened. This is where the culture came from. Is it supposed to evolve? Yes. I'm not saying you should go and punch people in the face every day, because, and I tell people all the time, especially if you're a black or brown person, you should want to wake up every day and seriously just punch everybody around you for the shit that we have to deal with. But you can't do that. So you have to find a way to channel all that energy into something, and that's exactly what hip hop is. It's like, it's a getaway, dude. It's kept me alive. It's kept me moving. You know, in the moments of bad relationships, whatever. Yo, boom. You feel me? Like, you go right to music, and it's like, it's almost, you know, Common was right. Yo, I used to love her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I used to love her, and she's beat up now, but I mean, I still represent it the way that I feel it should be represented. I mean, look, people don't even understand the art of, we couldn't even do this back in '85 when, you know, I'm sitting Friday night, I'm listening to Red Alert, Kiss FM, you know, recording on a reel-to-reel. You know, there weren't no phones where you could be, yo, check this out. I could text somebody. What? If you called them and they wasn't home, you missed out. That's why the cassette was important, right?
Right.
Get the cassette, put the cassette in, you tape it, and all those are archived. So I'm just saying there's many levels to this. Anybody who's tuning in to this show, and obviously all heads tune into the show, you don't have whack people, but they might be scrolling and be like, yo, this is an interesting conversation. This is all stuff that you need to understand, and if you didn't go through it and experience it, just respect it and understand that it's real. It's not just stuff you see on the internet. These are things that happen to bring it to where it is today.
Right. Exactly. Real quick, the questions feature there's a bubble right at the bottom of the screen where you can comment, and it has a question mark right there. So if you want to ask questions, you hit that button and you can put it there, and then I can pull them up. Salute, Duma. So yeah, no, it's this is important stuff, man, because, like, and you really brought up a good point. I'm actually, you gave me some video material, because yeah, there was a time, and I just keep looking at that, you got fucked up. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, get out of here. You got your ass beat first, because it was like, how dare you disrespect what we're doing
100%.
with that bullshit? Get it right,
Yes.
and then come back.
Yes. But you know what? That also now, like I said, everybody does everything. That was the buffer back then. You know, you had to be raw and stand firm on your ground to not get your shit taken, to not get punched in the face, to not get run up on after the fact. Like, you know, and dude, I have the ultimate respect for Herc and all them dudes back in the day because it was real. And nobody fucking understood and carried it. And those of us who were, you know, downtrodden, forgot about, we latched onto it, man. And that's the best thing I think that could have ever happened.
Yeah, nah, yeah,
for real.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, you talk about save me after my divorce and shit. Like for real, it's like
hey, real life, bro.
Like it really did. So you know, and because you know, I didn't feel like doing other shit, but you know, it was like, so I get it, man. So back to the DJ a little bit. You know, you're DJ, MC, and all that stuff too. But like, as far as we both know that it's obvious that the DJ has been really minimized in hip hop over the years. And I guess just what are your thoughts on that? Is what can we do to bring it back? I always say that, and we've talked about it a little bit, that the four elements are kind of operating in four individual silos, really, and not they're each popping off in their own way, but they're not. There's no cohesive anything going on. Right. So, I mean, as far as DJ, you know, like, what do you think can be done to really like bring that back to prominence? As far as, or is it just technology fucked it all up, or what?
Well, to touch on what you said first, like you go overseas, you go to a show, man. That's just, they got graffiti on the walls. They got crews that actually come through to dance. The DJs are on point. Like, that's what the scene should be. But, you know, I guess it was more corporatized here in the States, and you just they don't feel the need to have that present in wherever hip hop joint is. It's like, okay, we're just going to go in here and do this and leave. And it's like, no, that's not the way it works. But as far as the DJ game goes, again, back in the early days of DJing, you had to be appointed to even get near the turntables. You know, now you have girls that run up a request, sticking their phones in your face, and dude, like back in the day, even
wait, let me stop you for a second. That's because you posted on that, and I mean, you're not one of this. I always you're not one of bullshit, but like I was like for real. I was really like for real that's a thing.
1,000%.
So if you're out somewhere rocking, you got chicks coming up saying play, like really saying play this.
Look, that's the normal behavior now. But let me tell you, when it first started, they'd walk up and then just type something in and hold the phone up, and you just ignore them or whatever, and they're persistent. And then when we had playlists and music on your phone, they would come in and say, look, these are the songs that I want you to play. Like, it depends on where you spun. Like, I did do a couple of spots. It's money spots. You know what I'm saying? Where you go, you get your bread, you spin, whatever. But just the audacity to come to where somebody works. And yes, you're doing a service, and yes, you're spending money. But at the same time, the DJ, and this is what people don't understand about keeping your soul together. They don't understand that the DJ stirs up the environment. Let the DJ rock. If the DJ knows what he's doing, you're going to have a good time. I don't know how many cats have told me over the years, yo, M, you got me laid tonight when I'm spinning. Because it's like, yo, the way you put things together, it's a mood. And it's message. Look, you know, as long as you get the girls moving, you good. You know what I'm saying? So it's, to get back on point, DJing used to be, you had to be good. Now, like Kid Capri said in the interview not too long ago, because of the internet, you have DJ Little Debbie and DJ Kid Capri on the same platform, right? So they're promoted. If you don't know the difference, you don't know the difference. Oh, they're both DJs. But because everybody's able to step to the same plate as the big boys, you have a line of stuff like, yo, I don't know. And if you don't know, you're gonna fuck around and pick the wrong thing and follow it.
Yeah.
I told somebody the other day, man, commercial radio, just think, people don't even realize you put something that's easily accessible in your ears. How many times have you been in a bodega and you hear like a popular song or whatever, and if you were in there for more than 5 minutes, you might find yourself tapping your feet because it's so fucking catchy.
Of course.
You
Of course.
feel me?
Yes.
So think about mindless people that happens to. They're like, oh, this is good, and they turn it up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I mean, look, the art of DJing is still good, but it's oversaturated, and it's so out of control where people want to please the listener right away instead of being like, listen, I'm gonna edutain you. I'm gonna play you stuff you know, but I'm gonna fuck you up with stuff that you don't know, and I'm gonna mix it all together. That's always how I've loved to spin. Not everybody gets it, but that's also another remedy for keeping everybody in the room happy. You're never, ever, ever, as a DJ, going to keep every person in the room happy. But you can if you know how to maneuver. Kid Capri does that so fucking well. A lot of international DJs, DJ Andy Smith out of the UK, a lot of these dudes, they play a variety of music, and it keeps everybody in the crowd engaged. That's a real DJ, and you're going across genres. And then now we're getting into cross colors. It's not about black, white. Everything is encompassed together.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, yo. There's levels to. You said a lot. There's a levels to it, man. It's like right now, Kid Capri's on the same level as DJ Fuck Nipple or whatever.
Right.
It's there's no difference, but there is a big difference.
Right.
But you can go down the wrong lane and easily see. And you made a good point about the DJ. I was just thinking, like, how many times a DJ has taken me on a journey with the ability. 1 minute I'm here in house, and how did we get to this soul shit?
Yes.
And then how did we get to this disco?
Yes.
And now we're into Gangstar. What? Like, okay,
right.
Fucking, you know what I'm saying? That is the for me. That's the epitome of being a DJ. I love all the tricks. I love all of that stuff. But like, if you can't rock a party, and I've talked to Rob Swift, I've talked to Sinister, but I've talked to everybody. But if you can't rock a party, then
anybody who lived in the New York City, Brooklyn area, like Williamsburg before it was, right on the cusp of it being gentrified. There was a place called Black Betty. It was on Metropolitan and Havemeyer. I had a party there called Make Love Not War for about 3.5 years before it closed. If you find those sets on my Mixcloud page, that will define exactly what we're talking about. I used to just play everything from deep blues, soul, and I used to start playing at dinner. So, of course, you have to play different at dinner than you do at the peak hour. So you're playing stuff, and you're progressively just catching people like, yo, I love what he's playing. And then you also have to elevate the BPMs because people want to dance. So then there's that aspect of it too. But, yo, there's so many intricate, small things that go into DJing that people don't even really understand. They just think, especially with technology now, like I'm saying, you can just get on, do all your presets, where all the breaks are, and it's. I don't want to sound like an old man, but go through the process. Don't be so quick to just go right to, no, this is what I'm doing. No, look, feel it out.
Right.
A lot of people don't even understand. Check this out. When mixing records in, back in the day, if you had a disco record that had like weird instruments at the beginning and you had a break in the middle, sometimes the DJ would bring it in right from the middle to mix it in during the party and then start it from the beginning. A lot of people don't understand that too. It's like there's an art to DJing. It's not just putting the needle on the beginning of the record and flashing it in and everybody goes crazy. That's for the commercials.
Right.
Right. I'm going to throw out a couple of names that people don't know just to research because, if you're really into this conversation, you need to know if you don't. Dave Mancuso, Tony Humphries,
Woo!
Larry Levan, even currently DJ Spinner.
Okay.
These are all cats who take you on journeys through different kinds of music, and it's so magical when you get it. Don't just rush to, I gotta hear the hits. That's great, and that's great for a certain place and time. But if you really want to enjoy music, and we're not even getting to the sonic aspect of the way how music is received sound-wise, you know, just if you hear a DJ that's playing some halfway decent shit, even if you don't know it, let it rock for a couple of minutes and see what they're doing.
Right.
Now, if after a song or two you're not feeling it, you can either leave, which is the best option, because you can't go up and control somebody that's in a room that you walked into just because you don't like what they're doing.
Right. Right.
You feel me? Like there's rules to this shit, unwritten rules, but I don't know. This is all a part of being a solid culture person. You understand the nuances of what you're supposed to do in certain situations, what you're not supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always, you know, you get it. It's always about the subtle shit, man. Right? It's about the subtle shit. That's the shit where it really counts. So it's you know, the devil's in the details, right? So it's about it's about the little shit that people don't see. So yeah, it is about you. Yes. So that's the thing, man. And I wish we could get into it even more as far as, you know, because there's so many aspects to DJing. Like you said, it's not just playing the music. And how many times has anybody even in here been out, heard something, not knowing what it was, and been like, I gotta find out what the fuck that was, because you know you gave it a chance, and so I mean that's super important.
Oh, you know, actually, let me just touch on what you just said. Now, the magic of in the now, people now you can go and take your phone and Shazam something, and that takes no research whatsoever. Somebody else is pulling that information from the metaverse or wherever and bringing it to your phone, and now you instantly know what that song is. Back in the day, like you said, you hear a song, yo, I gotta know what the song is. Now what do? You gotta go to the record store. You gotta go home and do research. Yo, I heard this joint. I used to go to record stores and you know, you're describing the horns and the,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and then somebody luckily is like, yo, boom, I think I know what you're talking about. And then when you get it, you're like, yo, I got it.
Right. It went like this. It was like boom, boom, and then it was a hi-hat, and then it was like, oh, word, yeah, of course.
Right.
And that can't be replicated ever, man. That will never, you know what I'm saying? I'm grateful. You know, I just say, you know, to add on to that, we got lucky. I mean, like, we could have been born like in 2000. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful that I was born when I was and grew up where I was.
Absolutely. Listen, our breed is the final frontier, brother. Because I don't see many behind us, kind of, you know, really. All right, he's qualified. Like, we're the final frontier, and to be honest with you, they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again with no result. That sounds a lot like a lot of dudes in hip hop and just in arts in general. Like, we do it because we love it. You want to get paid. You want to get the respect. But the bottom line is, I do my weekly radio show. To be honest with you, I don't even know who the fuck. Well, I do know who listens, but I don't concentrate on that. I do it because it's a service. It makes me happy. And I know that there are people out there, just like I sat home and listened to tape stuff off the radio. There are people, younger people, and, you know, even people our age out there that are looking for it. And when they find it, it's like, yo. And then you make it fresh every week. You don't play the same records.
Right.
So it's like every week they know they're going to get something really special because you put work into acquiring the best, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And presenting it. Anyway, man, it is insanity, but I love it.
Yeah, no, it's just keeps us. The insanity keeps us sane. How about that? You know what I mean?
Word.
The insanity keeps us sane. Yo, so do you follow Rob Swift, Executioners?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to get your take on this topic that keeps coming up. To me, it's unfortunate that it keeps coming up. This whole like Puerto Rican contributions in hip hop, like just this debate that's just it got really heated a few months ago, and then it seems like it can't. Yo, it's really annoying to me because I didn't grow up like that. I never, I don't know, yo. So I really want to get your take on it. I mean, for people in here, you know, the past, maybe like 6 months ago, all this turbulence started brewing about like Black, Latino.
You know what? I'm gonna start like this. I'll just say Afro-Cuban. You think about a lot of the break beats that Kool Herc was playing. Those were Latin records. They had Latin records that had breaks in them. So even from that alone, like, the Latin contribution has always been there, but I think people just have this assumption that, it's just, hip hop is black. No, hip hop is not black. There were a lot of Hispanics that contributed heavily. And we know, even current day, there are a lot of people that never get to that front line of being recognized for their contributions. It is a thing, and it gets under people's skin. But no, Hispanics had a lot to do with the early days of hip hop. That's how I feel about it.
Why do you think it's such a thing now? Like I've never really heard this. It pisses me off that it's like happening, because I grew up, like I always say, my crew was kind of like a Benetton commercial. Like, just, and then if you're in a tri-state area, like, because I see people, like, if you're going to hear an Asian kid talk like black, it's from Brooklyn. That's what it is. It's just what it is. If you're not from New York, Connecticut, Jersey, maybe right. Boston, these spots, you're not going to get it, man. You know what I mean? But like, I just, where do you think this narrative, this whole thing is coming from? Because it seems like somebody's really stirring the pot.
No, it's a lot of stirring the pot. If you know, and if you don't, then you choose not to know. It's just do your history. There's so much history around. There are people you can talk to. I don't understand in the age of technology where people just don't really understand. Look, you can just go and look this stuff up, and even if you don't want to look it up, if you have a friend who knows something about, ask him, and you'll get to the bottom of where you need to get to. But we're in the age of instant gratification. Information needs to be right in your face in 2 minutes. And that's it. People don't want to go and look for information or seek for the depth of what it is that they found on the surface.
Also, they also don't want to go look for it because they don't want to be disproven either. A lot of people don't want to fucking find the truth. They want to believe what they want to believe. So, like a lot of times we just want to believe whatever the fuck we want to believe, and that is it. And how many times has somebody, like, have you shown somebody, like, you can show somebody like that this is red, like this color is red. They'll be like, they'll swear up and down that shit is fucking burgundy all day long, son. Like, burgundy.
Exactly.
Fuck it. Burgundy.
Exactly.
Nah, son, burgundy. So, I just want to say, I think that's part of it too. We believe what we want to believe. So I don't think people want to do the research because they're lazy, like you said, but also they don't really want to find out what it is. Good.
I like to call them keyboard Castros. You sit behind the keyboard and you fire shots at people. There are people that are just going to be that because that's the nature of the internet game. Not everybody comes outside. There are a lot of people that stay inside and they just want to take shots, and those are the people that you're talking about. They just stir up shit because they're inside their own heads and they don't have a community or circle of people around them that knows better. Also, the other aspect of I say hip-hop and just life in general, you always have to have somebody in your circle that checks you. Don't have everybody agreeing with everything you say. Have somebody that's going to give you some pushback to make sure that you're in the right place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we don't want that either. I'm just being honest with you. Brother Jay and I talk about it all the time. Motherfuckers don't want to be accountable either.
Like I'm saying, man, the age of technology where everybody does everything has every kind of game fucked up. Because everybody now plays the same game, and you don't know the fucking difference, and nobody wants to ask questions, and everybody wants to be the man right away, and they do the same thing the next. Dude, it's anyway.
Yeah,
anyway,
bios you see, nigga, that say CEO in them shits. Like, the fuck, CEO of what, nigga? Get the fuck out of here. Like, you CEO, come on, man. Like, nobody want to pay dues, man. Like, nobody want to pay dues.
No, they don't.
CEO shit.
It's the age of entitlement, brother. Hey, and listen, you know what? I gotta say publicly on here. I know he's gonna see it, brother Jay. Yo, your segments with him, brother. He drops jewels.
Thank you very much, man. We've been doing that show for 2 years.
Yeah,
going on 3 years.
If y'all don't know, please get familiar. Like there's again, those who know will flock to it and be like, yo, let me soak up all this. But people are like, oh, brother Jay, that was the guy from the X Clan, right? Oh, that was great. Yo, he's still here and he's talking some real shit. Like, yo,
right.
Tune in.
30,
You know, just
30 years later of more knowledge, right? Like,
come on, man.
30 years of wisdom over the years, Brother Jay. So yeah, we have a show with Brother Jay called Constant Elevation. It's the first Wednesday of every month. It's next week actually. So we've had yeah. So thank you. Yeah, no, that's shit that I care a lot about that show. That's a, you know what I'm saying?
Me too. I don't get to watch every episode, but when I catch the clips, I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're ever bored, whatever, they're all on the YouTube and they're all there in full. You know what I'm saying? And he's just, it's so hard to pick a clip when I'm editing them shit.
It really is. And to be honest, I told you on my show the other day, I jacked what you said about everybody can't rap. I threw it in one of my mixes. Same thing. I've taken a couple of clips from Brother Jay, like the stuff he says. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Let me grab this right here. I got to keep this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I appreciate your level-headed answer about the Black Puerto Rican thing, because it's just what it is. So fuck it. We moving on. We're moving on. So you got two shows, but the one I wanted to, you got a show that's, I'm a house head, and if you grew up again in our area, you understand that shit goes hand in hand. And so like I get heat and shit, like people that don't understand, they're like, oh, nigga. So I want to talk about the house shit, yo, and really just like, you know, talk about your show and just, you know, your love for house music.
Well, first of all, the show was called Controlled Substance. It's on station out of London, sg1house.co.uk, every Friday from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. New York City time. I grew up on my education. My hardcore education was Tony Humphries, 98.7 Kiss FM, every Saturday night in New York City from midnight to 3.
Legend.
It was a zone. It was a zone. And then, you know, as I moved forward, I started learning about other DJs, DJ Disciple, E-Man out of Brooklyn, obviously Spinner, like all these people that fed into that house vibe. And, you know, for those hip-hop heads that, you know, don't know what we're talking about, like, house music is a feeling. It's not like, you know, hip hop is more concentrated. Like you concentrate on the lyrics and the beat hits you. But with house music, it's like you could just be standing in a room and not even listening, and all of a sudden 2 minutes later you just feel yourself, you starting to move, especially if the DJ knows what he's doing. And then it just goes from there because they just take you on a ride. So I've been doing this show, Controlled Substance, for about maybe 3.5, 4 years now. Again, I don't even know half the time who listens to the show. I do it personally because I get a lot of great music and I want to share it with the world. I would love to monetize it. I'm still trying to figure that out. But for the month, in the meantime, I every week, and consistency, people, consistency. When you do something more regularly, you're more apt to get people to follow what you're doing. Because if you stop and then you start, and you start, go for 2 weeks, and then you stop. Now, life takes its course, and sometimes things happen. But the beauty of my show is it's pre-recorded. So it's every week you know it's going to be there. You know, I love doing live shows, but for right now, because of, you know, actually it started during the pandemic, like, you know, we couldn't go outside. So I started doing the Instagram live thing for a minute. You know, people may remember the midday mix I used to do for an hour. No, but it's just house music is something that I've been into for a long time, and I've always loved it, and it's just my love for it has gotten stronger and stronger throughout the years, and I just continue to spread that vibe.
Yeah, no, that's dope. I mean, it goes hand in hand with hip hop. I mean, like, you know, there was tons of, you know, Wifey just posted our house shoot today, like for Wifey Wednesday. I mean, there was so much that fusion. Everybody had a house track back in the day. I remember. Yeah, I bumped King's Son on the club tip. Like,
yes.
I mean, come on, man. Like, you know, even the twin hype joints, people shit fuck with that.
For those
you
who
know what I mean?
like the groove.
Dude, I mean, them niggas was looking weird in the video because it was like they were like in a junkyard and shit, and they was just like, you know. But it was like it was fun, man. And it was, the thing was about hip hop, as far as the music goes, there was so much bandwidth. There was a place for a lot of shit. Like there was room for everybody. You could have fun in hip hop. You could have, you know what I'm saying? and Latifah had her joint, you know, like Craig G. I mean, everybody. So
you know why that disappeared, right? Because of the accessibility of everything. Like, you know, record labels disappeared, and all of a sudden, internet things took over, and it's like the floodgates open. But back then, because it was an element of mystery, even I was telling somebody the other day, even just to get off track for a second, a lot of early hip hop groups, when they went on the road, there was no internet. Like you were going into wilderness. You from the block, son. You're now you're traveling out west to places that you don't even know, and it's like it was a whole experience. So now there's no experience about anything anymore. You feel me? There's no experience. Everything is right in your face. But just getting back to the house music. House music, a lot of people, and I have to say this, a lot of people diss it because, you know, you got gay people listening to it or whatever. It does not matter. It does not matter. It's the music. Forget everything else. I just have to say that because certain people out there get really weird. House music comes on, they start looking around. Dude, just groove, son. Groove.
yeah.
That's all you got to
do. Yeah. And so that's the thing, like, you know, you made a good point. It's about a feeling, and that shit opens you up. And so if you're closed off inside, you know, you're not going to really be able to appreciate house music yet until you got to let
them to the water, but you can't make them drink, son.
Right. Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, one thing I want to get into before we get out of here is, you know, you're very outspoken about a lot of different things. And you posted a meme the other day.
Which one?
Yeah, which one? Which one? 400 years later, and black people still think white people are going to have a change of heart. Speak on that.
Hey, look around, brother. Look, you know what? Let me lead in by saying this. During the civil rights era, those of us who are old enough to remember, there were white folks that stood side by side with us through a lot of horrific shit. Okay, so not every white person is bad. But on the contrary, look around and there's a lot of old glory type of mentality that does not want to be diminished. The landscape or the ethnic geography of the country is changing. There's a lot of people that do not want to see that happen.
Yeah.
Okay? So they've made allowances as we've gone forward. And when I say they, up top in, you know, government, Capitol Hill, whatever.
Right.
The people that make decisions. And you see it's gotten progressively worse, especially since that last president. I'm not even going to dignify him by saying his name. But you see how the privilege and power of white people in that regard, it can fuck a lot of shit up.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, you know, the conversation of reparations is still on the table. That's even a very dense conversation, because how do you define a price on life times $1 trillion? We're talking about, let's get into it, bodies that were dumped in the sea that weren't useful all the way over here when we were transported from Africa and all these different countries, imported. They just threw bodies into the sea for the sharks. All right, that's just the beginning. I could go on and on and on. So I'm just saying there's a history. There's a history, a firm history of you were here to work. You weren't here to do anything else. But because we've moved forward in time and a lot of things have changed, there's a lot of people that as we move forward, they don't want to see that extra move of change. So just be mindful that after 400 years, there are still people who still think that way, and some of those people are linked to people that are in government today.
Do you catch any heat for a lot of the shit that you post? Because I don't think, in my opinion, I've never pegged you as a person that posts shit that you don't, like, as far as, you know, social shit that you're not really behind, that you don't fucking mean, and you know. So do you catch any heat? Because, you know, like, I don't peg you as a racist dude or as a dude who hates white people. And then, you know, I see a meme, and it's like I rock with the meme, but it's like, you know, what's the position of like people as far as like friends and just whoever, just like oh, Emskee, do you ever get any like DMs like, yo, what's that, Emskee? Like, or no?
You know what? This is going to sound weird, but I live my life in a code of morals and standards. And I also have an autistic son that I father. Okay? So with those things in place, my time is very, very valuable and my energy is valuable. So I concentrate on things that I need to concentrate on. And things that I post it may even be things that I'm learning in the moment. But I post things because it offers perspective. You may not agree with what I'm saying, but it's a perspective for you to just take it and you take what you want from it, or leave it the fuck alone. I don't care, but I have a lot of things on my mind on a daily basis, and it ranges. And I post what I feel that has a pulse to people who have a finger on the pulse of real things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And, if you don't get it, then you don't get it. But to answer your question, surprisingly so, I used to get people, hopping on and then writing like 18 paragraphs because they're disgruntled with what you said. I don't really get that anymore. I mean, occasionally you'll have somebody jump in and I'll cut them down right away. I'm like, first of all, yes, you can post on my thing, but let's just keep it respectful, number one. Number two, when you come here poking fingers, you get the automatic block. You out of here. Peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't argue with people anymore. Sometimes I'll stretch it to see if you have a good point. I may trade a couple of things with you, see where you're headed. But the dangerous thing about even text messages and not seeing the person on the other side is that people don't know how to ride the wave of tone and words. You feel me?
Facts, of course.
And
Yeah.
there's a certain nuance to be able to do that. Somebody may write in all caps and be absolutely happy person, but they write you in all caps, then you think it's like they're yelling at you.
Right.
And then sometimes there's a lot of misconceptions like that. So anyway, I don't take people seriously. I do what I do, and I try to live in righteousness and in goodness, and I try to spread love where possible. But if you want to do the fuck you shit, I can do the fuck you shit even more. So,
I feel you. No,
That's it.
I get it. Yo, last thing before we get on out of here, I did want to talk about fatherhood a bit because I appreciate. My heart melts when I see pictures of you with your son. You know what I'm saying?
And likewise to your nephew, man.
Boss, and it's like, yo, like that shit is dope. So just talk about fatherhood because I know that means a lot to you, and I'm certified to work with kids and autistic kids in Pennsylvania, so I that shit hits home to me. Like I was a job coach for kids in Philly,
Right.
So I get it. Like what's fatherhood like for you? It brings a smile to my face when I see you, but I know it can be challenging at times. So what's the deal?
That's a good way to lead in. Being the guardian parent of an autistic child is the most challenging thing in the world. You cannot. My son is in the middle of the spectrum. So for those of you that don't understand, there's a spectrum of autism. He's right in the middle. He's verbal and nonverbal. They have their own communication, and through growth, time spent, and time in general, you learn there's a certain flow of communication that you learn to have with your son, with my son. And it's just it's been so challenging, but at the same time, it's taught me so many lessons about the energy. Like I'm saying, conserving energy. My energy is for my son. It's not for anything else. I don't have time to argue with you about bullshit on the outside. I have to go back home and take care of this child. So that's where my energy lies. We go on the trains every Saturday. He loves the trains. Wherever he wants to go, he has a simulator on his computer, and he knows where all the stops are. So I don't even have to navigate him. I'll be like, where are we going? And he'll know exactly where he's going. He leads me. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's very dope, but like I said, it's a very challenging lifestyle. It's altered my relationships with people because when shit gets real, you know who's for you you see who's for you and you see who's not.
Right.
You know, that's another aspect of my overall game that I've gotten from the challenge of having an autistic child. It's like, you know what? You know who rocks with you and who doesn't. You know, and you keep your circle tight. There's no time for extra. You know what I'm saying? So it's a joy, but it also at the same time, it's so much work. It's so much time. You know, we spent a lot of time together during the pandemic, obviously, because, you know, we were indoors, couldn't go a lot of places. So even that time was a special kind of bond because I had to do virtual classes with him every day, getting up with an autistic child. Dude, people don't understand. It's not like just waking your child up and you get to have breakfast. It's a whole, you work on their schedule.
Yo, listen, and this is why I know. So I was a job coach for 2 years. And I had,
it's challenging, you know,
yeah.
but I have a smile on my face because he has been the biggest blessing in my life. Besides hip hop and just music culture, like all three of those things, yo, it's actually saved my life and it's made my life a whole lot richer. I don't get to see people a lot because I spend so much time at home base. But you know, I would love to see people more, but at the same time, the people that understand, we connect, and those are the people that I know are there for me in my situation. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, salute, man, to you for doing that, and just for not for doing that, but just I get it, and that's why I really wanted to talk about it because it was the most rewarding job I've ever had, and I made like $13 an hour, but I did it for 2 years, and I had a kid that he loved to train, so he couldn't get the jobs on time, but so we were like he always getting fired, right? Because he couldn't get the jobs on time, but he loved to train. So we got him a thing where he put vending machines in barber shops on the train line, on the L train line.
Yeah.
And he was motivated by money. So if the vending machines weren't full, he didn't make any money. So he was always just riding the train line, filling up the machines. Every time something sold, he was at the stop. Boom, 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 boom. And like you said, he knew the train line like well and everything. So it's something that's close to my heart, man. And I just really appreciate you for it because it's a lot of patience. I'm not a patient person, but that taught me a lot. Patience.
Neither am I, kid. Neither am I. But I learned. Dude, in the early days, it was so hard because you're used to your own time. You know, most people, when they have a kid, most of the time, it's normal kid. You know, you do normal shit. But, you know, it's been a road, man. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
But I would not. This is going to sound raw. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I actually wish people could experience it so you feel what I feel, what I see.
Right. Nah, makes perfect sense. Before we get on out of here, got another show coming up right after you. Fucking, what you got going on now? What you got going on in the future? Anything, you know what I'm saying? Good.
We have time to run down this list. There's a lot of stuff. I'll try to make it quick.
Down, yo. I'm glad you didn't be like, oh, I ain't got shit. So, yeah.
Well, just first of all, anybody that wants to rock with the Good People stuff and my solo stuff with Milk Crate and a couple of other people,
Please do.
thegoodpeople.bandcamp.com. Thank you. Right now, I have a single out with my man Music Man Edition. It's called Utopian Concept. Real dope, slow hip-hop banger. Go check for that on iTunes, on the goodpeople.bandcamp site, on Music Man Edition site. Remember to check out Pen Joints every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York City time on Bushwick Radio and Rap.fm. That hip-hop knock, baby. If you remember Future Flavors, if you remember Martin Moore Mayhem, if you remember DJ Eclipse's halftime show, if you remember Vandy C and Bill Blast, if you remember Livio G and P Fine, New York City underground hip-hop shows, that's what I represent every Friday, all right?
It's a good one.
Remember the Controlled Substance show every Friday night into Saturday morning, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. sg1house.co.uk. My Mixcloud page, mixcloud.com/MARCSMITH184/. Don't be overwhelmed when you go there. There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, you've been around for a long time, man, and so it should be a lot of shit, and you're still doing it. You're still.
Thank you for this opportunity, brother. I appreciate you.
No, listen, man. Thank you for being here. Real quick, we're gonna run it down. We got next week. We got Brother J, Constant Elevation. We're back. Then we got Queen Heroin the following week. Juggernauts.
The Queen.
Domingo the following week. I can't read my writing. What the fuck is that? I can't. Scott Free. The following week. Then we got our man Nutso back for part 2, And then we got Nejma Nefertiti. She's an animal.
Oh, missiles.
Good, great.
Missiles.
Yeah, she's some
Yeah.
She's Oliver North delivering whack to motherfuckers, man, for real, son. So we coming up with our people saying hip hop culture. We're doing the under the radar 3 minutes where he highlights 5 joints that you may not have heard. I highlight 5 joints you may not have heard. And with all these people, here's the good thing: there's so much. I have access to a lot of dope music that I wouldn't have had access to before. So I got to sift through it. But like, there's people we're hearing like, Nejma and Ill Conscious and wild motherfuckers that maybe wouldn't have, you know what I mean? So,
real quick, I gotta shout your wifey's page, man. Yo, she be coming with some missiles, kid.
Yep.
Yo, don't sleep. Don't sleep.
Wifey,
wait, I don't know. I don't. What's the page? What's the page?
KJCTC 313.
Yo, you don't know. Go there. His wifey got son. Hip hop.
That's why wifey, man. That is why she is. That's why I just fuck with her. You know what I mean? Like because of that. So yeah, no, thank you. So we out here. We're gonna get this up on the YouTube. We'll tag you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I hope at some point we get to link up in the physical because that is important. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the technology that we can use it for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yes, so, indeed.
So we'll get this up. Thanks to the people that was joining in, and we're back in 5. So
salute everybody. Peace.
Talk to you, fam. Peace.
Yes.